Hello there monsters and men, ladies and people, and welcome to Recharging. It is time for a range test, and this time with the new generation Hyundai Kona Electric. The long range version to be precise. Yes, a new generation. It looks brand new, but in terms of drivetrain, it is less new because not a whole lot has changed. Again, it has 204 horsepower, and where the previous model had a battery pack of 64 kilowatt hours, this one has a battery pack of 65 kilowatt hours. But I do wonder if this generation will be as efficient as the previous model. Let's just say this particular version will not, and also it will not be today, because this version has 19-inch wheels, and with 19-inch wheels it has a WLTP range of 454 kilometers. And there's also a version with 17-inch wheels, and that one has a WLTP range of 514 kilometers. So a significant difference. And of course, being the press model, this one has the bigger rims, so 19-inch wheels, so a WLTP range of 454 kilometers. And why not today? Well, you probably see it. It is raining, it is windy. The conditions are not great. It is 8 degrees Celsius outside, so the temperature is good. But again, it is raining, it is windy, wet roads. The conditions are not great. But I looked at the weather forecast, and well, during my whole test period, it will be this kind of weather. So it didn't really matter when I did the test, to be honest. Yeah, it's going to rain harder, so the car is charging up, and then I will go do the range test. What I forgot to mention, because I wanted to get inside the car because of the terrible weather outside at the moment, as you can see, is that as normal I will do one test at 90 kilometers per hour to simulate those mixed driving conditions, and I will do one test at 130 kilometers per hour. Also, when I do my range test in Germany, where I am at the moment, I can choose to drive north or to drive south. Currently I am driving north because when driving north, it should get dry. So yeah, let's hope it does. The weather forecast was right. I am driving north and it is currently dry, and also the road here seems pretty dry. And I see a blue sky there. Amazing. Besides that, the car has used 10% state of charge, and on the 10% I have done 39 kilometers. So the range, it seems like right now, is 390 kilometers. But this will not be correct because of two reasons. First, the state of charge scale in a Korean car is not linear, so 10% at the top is not the same as 10% at the bottom for some reason. And also, as I said, it is quite windy, and the wind is coming from the northwest. I am driving north, so that means I have headwind. So when turning around, I will have tailwind, which will influence the consumption. So it is very hard for me to predict at the moment what the end range will be. But anyway, I will just keep on driving. The average consumption at the moment is 19.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which, well, isn't great while doing 90 kilometers per hour. But again, I will just keep on driving, and yeah. Sometimes it is dry, sometimes it is rainy, and it is windy. So yeah, the conditions are not great, but I've told you that. The car has used 25% state of charge, and on that 25% I have done 95 kilometers. So the range, it seems like right now, is 380 kilometers, which in these conditions is not terrible. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. The average consumption is going down. It is currently 18.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but still, yeah, I don't know. I'm not impressed, let's say that. I'm not impressed. But I'm really wondering, because I will turn around soon, what the consumption will do then. Because I thought I was going to get a little bit of tailwind when turning around, but when I look at the wind turbines, well, it looks like the wind is coming from the west instead of the northwest. So if that is the case, I will not have any tailwind, and well, that's that. So anyway, again, I will turn around, and then, well, you will probably hear the final result at the charger. I thought I was going to be smart by charging while eating, so that in the time I was done eating, the car was done charging and I could do the 130 kilometers per hour test straight away. But then I was done eating, Arrived at the charger and found out that my charging session stopped. So here I am, charging up for the test. What is cool though is that there is the Fisker Ocean standing here beside me charging up. The Fisker Ocean is already here in Europe. This is the first one that I see in the wild. Awesome. Really looking forward to drive that car. Really looking forward. Anyway, the result of the Hyundai Kona. I mean, that's what we are sitting in at the moment. At least I'm sitting in. I started the test with 79% state of charge and I arrived at the charger with 23%. So that means I've used 56%. On that 56% I have done 209.6 kilometers. So you can do with the Hyundai Kona Electric long range with the 19-inch wheels, important, 374 kilometers. The average consumption was 18.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And I have to admit, I expected a little bit more, close to 400 kilometers. But yeah, this car stands on the 19-inch wheels. So it has a WLTP range of 454 kilometers. If you have the version with the 17-inch wheels that has a WLTP range of 514 kilometers, then you get more than this. Then you're pretty sure you can get over 400 kilometers of range in these terrible conditions. And even though it is 7 degrees Celsius outside, I will say this is winter range. This is the range you can expect in winter, also in freezing conditions with this car. In summer, I'm pretty sure you can get that 450 kilometers. I believe in Hyundais and Kias for that. They always deliver. So I'm pretty sure in summer, yes, you can get that. You can get that. So I forgive you, Kona, in these terrible conditions. I forgive you. But I do wonder, what will the consumption be on the 130 kilometers per hour test? I cannot do more than 250 kilometers while driving that speed on a single charge. I cannot imagine that this car will do that with this amount of wind. Anyway, well, let's find out, right? Oh man, it's getting a little bit drier now, but it was piss pouring with rain. It's absolutely terrible. I thought it was going to be drier the rest of the evening, but no, of course not, no. Anyway, the car has used 10% state of charge, and on that 10% it has done 30 kilometers. So if I estimate the range based on that number, means 300 kilometers of range. Can't be right. Can't be right. This number will go down. I mean, in these conditions, if I can do 375 while doing 90, I can never do 300 while doing 130 kilometers per hour. Impossible. Impossible. Anyway, I will keep on going. I will keep on going during the rain. Rain, it's raining, raining. Hallelujah, it's raining, raining. Oh yeah. Luckily it's not raining, man. No, luckily not. It is finally dry again. Oh, this weather, this weather. Anyway, the car has used 25% state of charge, and on that 25% it has done 65 kilometers. So yes, the range is dropping, but based on that number, the car can still do 260 kilometers while driving this speed in these conditions. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I'm sorry. The range will drop more, and I will probably end up at around 220 kilometers, I think. But we will see. The consumption at the moment is 30.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Yeah, damn. That is a whole lot. That is a whole lot. Alright, the result of the 130 kilometers per hour test. And I have to say that I am surprised, because the result is better than I expected based on the 90 kilometers per hour test. So yeah, here is the result. I started the test with 79% and I arrived at the charger with 3%. So that means I've used 76%. On that 76% I have driven 175 kilometers. So yeah, you can do 230 kilometers. The average consumption was 28.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And I have to admit, I did a little more than 175 kilometers, but I drove in road work, so I had to drive slower. So I subtracted a few kilometers on the amount that I have driven. But yeah, 230 kilometers in the same worst conditions that I had with the 90 kilometers per hour test. Although now it is dry. It rained during the first bit of my test, but now it is dry, and I hope it stays this way. But still, 230 kilometers in these conditions with well, it is very windy again. It is very windy. Really good. That means in spring summer conditions you can at least do 250 kilometers. Easy. You can do that easy, and that is great. And keep in mind, this is the 19-inch version. If you have the 17-inch version, you can do even more in summer. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was a surprise. 90 kilometers per hour test, bit disappointment. Based on that, these results, a surprise, a good surprise. So yeah, that was the test, and I hope you liked it. And if you did, well, please give a like, and please do subscribe. And well, if you want to, leave something in the comment. And then I would like to say now, thank you a lot for watching, and as always, to be continued.